will give you a go ahead. The chat box can also be used for question. Feedback survey will be posted on the chat box. Please kindly fill that in. Um, Please allow me to introduce our facilitator for today, Mr. Melvin Damons, who is an instructional designer at the Center for Academic Technologies. Without wasting any time, I'd like to hand over to you, Mr. Damons.
Thank you very much, Rebrochile. Good morning, colleagues. My name is Melvin, as indicated. I'm going to share my screen, and I'm not going to assume that everybody knows how to log into Ulink or to Moodle. So I'm just going to share my screen, and then I'm going to start from there. Yeah, just give me some confirmation whether everybody can see my screen, Rebrochile.
All right. Yes, we can see your screen.
Okay.
Perfect.
Okay, perfect. You will also just indicate to me if there's any hands, because I'm driving blind now at the moment.
No
And
problem.
just stop me. Okay. All right.
All
So
right, no
colleagues,
problem.
yeah. Like I indicated, the assumption, I don't want to assume that everybody knows how to log into Moodle. So I'm going to start from the Ulink portal, and this is what you see in front of you. I'll put my credentials in the login ID and password and click on to log in to Ulink. And this is the following screen that you will be seeing. I will be joining or clicking on UJ Moodle login, and it will take me to this area. All right. Just to stop here, if you don't have a sandbox or playground, please send your details to Reblachile or Ophelia so that we can create a sandbox for you. And I'm going to show you what a sandbox can do and does for people who are unfamiliar with the Moodle platform. So this is the running banner that you see of the university. Some people will look at the courses or courses that are featuring here. Other people will look at the site announcement, and you will type your course name in if you are a lecturer or if you have courses that's currently running on Moodle, or you have a first semester or a year course or a second semester course. You will type your module code and you will click on go. Right. You'll also see at the bottom there is teaching with Moodle. This is the module that we've created. In the event that you need additional information or references, you can either click here on this teaching with Moodle. And once you click on teaching with Moodle, this is what you will see in front of you. We have created Moodle memos. And once you click on Moodle memos, the information that will be popping up will be the Moodle forum. You click on the Moodle forum, and this is all the sessions that we have already conducted since the beginning of the year. And this you can use as references, and you can click on any of these themes here, and you can interrogate the content that we have explained or went through the content with all the other lecturers and concerned staff. I'm going to click on my courses because this is where we're going to. You will see there's my name and there's my profile, dashboard, grades, preferences, switch roles, and logout. Now, I'm going to start from this area. Your dashboard or your profile is where you can change your picture. I'm just going to click on it quickly. This is where your details are. You can see there's my details, and I can either see where the course details, miscellaneous, and reports are. I'm not going to interrogate anything there. I'm just going to go back again. My dashboard, this is where my courses will be situated, or some of the courses that's currently on Moodle that you can search for. You see, I use my name or my courses all the time to come back to the screen. There's my grades if you have students in your specific area. And then I want to just pause a little bit at preferences. When I click on preferences, and I'm just going to focus on message preference and notification preferences. If you are a lecturer and you assign a particular area of concern to the students, you will receive, or the students will receive, a notification, and you will also receive a notification. If you don't want your email to be clogged up, you have to click on message preferences or notification preferences. I'm going to click on message preferences so that you can see that's popping up. So if you send a message to your student, or the supervisor sends message to you, you can either be notified via email or mobile. You decide which of the two areas that you want to be notified via email or your mobile, and you choose. That's your notifications. When you click on courses again, you click on preferences, and you click on messages. No, we just go back to notification. Right. Now, these are the assignment, forum, lesson, and so on. So if you were to give an assignment to students and you have 1,000 students, you don't want to be notified that each student receive a notification. So this is the area where you either disable or disable some of the notifications where you don't want your emails to be clogged up or to be consumed by students' email and so on. So you just have to say no. You don't want to receive, or you want to receive email notifications if you are a student, or if you are a lecturer, or if you are being supervised by one of the supervisors at UJ and so on. So I'm going to go back to my courses. All right. You'll also see there's deadline dates here. There's assignments. There's Turnitin assignments. There's a normal assignment. And there's also other gradings and messages. This is now before you go into your course or your sandbox and so on. All right. And this is your preferences. You can switch role to student role, or to lecturer or supervisor or moderator, or whatever the case that's assigned. You can click on switch roles. Obviously, logout will be going on to logout. I'm going to focus on my sandbox. Now, as indicated, if you don't have a sandbox, just send your details to the moderator so that we can create a sandbox for you. Now, a sandbox, or playground, if I'm going to click on the live icon, this is the sandbox. Now, I've indicated in my sandbox, this is the area to practice in, to improve your content, to try new apps, interrogate possibilities, collaborate, improve your skills. This is a place, and nobody else have access to your sandbox except you. And this is also a place where you can fail and try again without any judgment, or people pass, unpalatable comments in terms of what you're trying to achieve in your sandbox. So this is a safe space. Everybody should have a sandbox to play in, or to work in, or to try to interrogate, or to improve their content skills and so on. So this is where I'm going to show you how the content has been created and laid out in Moodle. Now, on my left-hand side, this is the content area that you are going to build. If you are a lecturer that's presenting content to a class or classes, each week or unit or theme could be created by virtue of just clicking on create a new section, and I'll be going through that as well. So on your left hand side, you will see then the content area. Some of your content area differs from mine. I've just structured it in such a way that you can see you can structure it in a more structured fashion or way to make it more presentable to your students, or to people who are assisting you in you're collaborating with someone else in this course or a course and so on. So we'll have your announcement, a welcome and announcement that's defaults, and all the other content areas, topics have been created by myself, and you can also do it by virtue of just going to click here, create a new section. But I'm first going to show you what you can find in your left-hand side. So once you go to click new section, you will be creating content area. But if you click on dashboard, and this is what you're going to see in front of you, your content area will open, and this is what you will see in your dashboard. Your core settings, competencies, gradebook, participants. You can see I have 20 participants in my sandbox, and how to download my course. And also there's also edit blocks. I'm going to touch on this area and so on. And also on my right hand side, this is the area where you are going to toggle between content area and a lot of admin. So this is my admin cog, or my wheel And this is when I click on this, this is what you're going to see. And this is how you're going to navigate through your settings, your course completion, the users, the amount of users in your course, the dashboard, reports, your gradebook, and how to import and export content, your question banks, and up until how you switch role from instructor to student, like the very same I showed you before and so on. Okay, right. So that is your dashboard, and this is your admin wheel or your cog. So I'll be referring to this one, your admin wheel, your cog, and your content area. And this is your dashboard, right? Just to familiarize yourself with the area. So I'm clicking on my cog, I'm closing, and you can see what's happening with my screen. My screen appears in the middle again. So top right, you'll see my courses, my initials. When I click on it, you can see I've the very same thing that I've just explained, the profile, grades, preferences, and dashboard, and so on, is when you click on the drop-down arrow. Then there's communication. There's a communication bubble here. If you send quick messages to your students, there's a notification that there's been 25 notifications in my course, and this is just a snap feed for information and so on. I'm just going to click on that. So you can see that if I click on notification, there are 25 upcoming notifications, and I have received this in my inbox as well. So I do need to reset my notifications preference, not to receive 25 emails all the time and so on. So I'm going to go back to my create a new section. And this is what you're going to see in front of you. I'm going to create a new section, and I'm just going to call this section research development or research capacity development. And I'm just going to say, welcome, colleagues. And this, I'm going to introduce myself for the course or whatever I'm going to present to students, and you insert your introduction. If, however, you want to include a video, and you see, I'm just going to toggle between these areas here so that you can see I've already opened a YouTube. Let me just this away here. A YouTube channel here. I click on it, and I want to embed a video, a welcome video, for instance, or whatever. There's a video that I've already opened. I can right click on the video. I copied my URL, copy video URL, and I go back to my course. I click on this area here, or I can just give students a brief to say that click on the link to view the video. Okay, all right. I'm going on this link here. I click on the link and I say here, for instance, open in a new window, and I insert the URL by pressing Control and V and create a link. There is a video already created, right? Just say create a section so that you can see what I'm saying. The system has created a section, and what the system does, the system will immediately calibrate that link into a video. And once I click on the video supposed to play the. And this is how easy it is, colleagues, just to embed a video from YouTube. However, due to the space and the constraints that we have on Moodle, we want you to insert links, and the very same thing that I've just indicated to you by clicking on that link, and you insert the link by virtue of that I've shown you. I'm also going to show you how to embed a video differently from your YouTube channel and from your shared drive or your Google Drive. I'm assuming that everybody has a Google Drive and so on. So this is just my introduction, colleagues. Now I want to build content. Now all the content that I'm going to build, I'm going to click on create learning activity. When I click on learning activity, this screen will open, and this is all the icons that you are going to utilize in your space. May it be a assignment, may it be a Turnitin assignment, H5P, you want to discuss, you have a forum, and so on and so on and so on. So I'm going to start by clicking on resources. And at resources or in resources, these are the icons that you are going to utilize to build content in. Now, the easiest one would be to text and media area. And if you're not familiar with text and media area or page up until URL, all that you need to do with all of the icons is just to click on this information button here, and you click on it and it opens up a window where it explains to you what text and media area is all about. And if you want to interrogate further, you can just click on more help. Okay, and you just add if you're going to use text and media area. I'm going to use text and media area, and this is how it will open. So I'm just going to say introduction. That's my layout that I'm going to do in my course. I'm going to insert welcome. That's my outcomes. I'm going to insert a table of a task. And then my readings and my quiz, my assignment, and a summary. And I return and go to my course so that you can see what I mean. So there's my RCD. Welcome colleagues, my introduction. I click on the video. There's my video that's going to play. And this is my layout. This is what my layout is going to look like and so on. So if I want to insert content in my layout, to look at something like this at the end of the day. Uh, so there's my private law. I've put an introduction. I've also put an audio, but we have restricted the audio. There's my video. And I've also included a transcript in my video to make provision for students with accessibility challenges. And I've just spoken with text in media area, and this is how my layout would be. My introduction, this is private law. This is my outcomes. There's my table of activity, and you can see in my table of activity, I've inserted chapters. This is what the students will be reading in the learning material. I'm going to quiz them for 30 marks, and I'm going to cover these outcomes that I've inserted here. Obviously, the due date was on Friday. They have done it already, and the assignment is due on today. So there's my articles that the student should read. This assignment is out of 100 marks, and I'm covering these outcomes. So the due date for the assignment is today. Then I'm inserting a PowerPoint presentation. There's a video. There's my transcript. There's a quiz link and additional readings, and there's my summary as indicated. Here's my quiz as indicated, and there's my assignment as I've indicated here in my table of activities, so that I can see I am aligned in terms of what I ask the students to look at in this content that I've built. Any questions on this that I've just explained to you, colleagues? Any questions? Okay, there's a James. Yes, unmute yourself, James. Ask the question.
James, I have enabled your mic. You can unmute yourself.
Hello.
Yes, I can hear you. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah. Thanks, Demons, for that wonderful introduction and presentation. Just a quick one. I registered in one of my courses on that platform. It's called pre-registration thesis and dissertation.
Yes.
And then what I have is just introduction, topic 1, topic 2, something like that.
Yes.
During my registration. Now, I'm wondering, what am I supposed to be doing now with this?
All right. My question to you, are you a lecturer?
No, I'm a PhD student
Okay.
at the Center for Applied Data Science.
Okay.
Registered student, yes.
Yeah. All right. So you don't have any students in your course or your module?
Not yet.
Okay, all right.
Yes,
So
I don't
just
know that.
okay, uh, okay. So if you want to ensure whether you have students or not, you would just click on your dashboard here, like I indicated, and go to this participant. So if you don't have any participants in your group, it means that you don't have students in your module. However, what your course is actually telling is that you can then utilize a space to work on your PhD or your postgraduate or postdoctoral content. Now, how are you going to do that? All right. And this is one of the assignment areas where I want to focus on in terms of the Turnitin. All right. I've indicated to you earlier, the content area is extremely important. How you're going to build your area or your content. Your dashboard is for line of sight, and then also the wheel is for administrative areas and so on. But I'm going back to this area here, which I have created, the RCD. All right. Say, for instance, you have written a chapter and you want to submit the chapter to see, to look at the similarity report or to look at your similarity index. So I'm going to create a Turnitin assignment so that I can submit my chapter 1 or my thesis or my chapter 2 or any document that I want to assess in terms of similarity. What I'm going to do here, I'm going to create a learning activity, right? And I'm going to all, for instance, and I'm just going to go to the Turnitin. So if I don't see Turnitin at a glance there, you can just type your search and you can say turn it, and you can immediately see there's Turnitin. All right. So I'm going to click on Turnitin. The system is running, and I'm just going to go, I'm just going to say, this will be my first assignment. Um, and it deals with, just to make an example, why nations fail. That's my chapter 1 of my thesis. All right. I'm just going to say, this is my chapter 1, and so on and so on and so on and so on. Right. Now I'm going to go through my settings, which is extremely important for everybody to focus on, because why you would want to submit a document, a thesis, a chapter to look at the similarity index so that you can get a report, or you submit a report to your supervisor, or whatever you are going to utilize this space for. Because as a postgraduate center, the focus would be on this Turnitin assignment submission, and how to get the report, and how to extract the report, and how to read the report and understand the report, and so on. So before we get to understanding and extracting the report, you need to do your settings thoroughly. Yeah. You display the description on the course. You want that to happen. The type of submission would be any type, but interrogate this as well. And if you're not certain about any clicks that you need to click, please just refer to this question mark here, and the question mark will guide you. Submission can be made in 2 different formats, copy and paste or file format. You click, if you want to, you say just upload file. All right. The number of parts, if you have 2 or 3 chapters or whatever the case may be, you will decide how many chapters you are going to utilize here. So I'm just going to leave it as now 1 part. Maximum file type must be that, all right? Allow submission of any type, say type of file. I'm just going to say yes. Display similarity reports to the student. That's the reason why you want a similarity report in the first place. You will just have to indicate, yes, I want a similarity report for the student or for myself to be generated by the system. For all the other stuff, I'm just going to leave as is. Set the values and assignment. I'm just going to leave as, unless you are going to assess it out of a particular mark, and you can just click your mark to be displayed, yes or no, and whatever the case may be. All right. Then I'm going over to the grade or the visibility. I'm click on visibility. I want this to show on my page, or you can hide it. It's totally up to you. I'm just going to show it as is. Then grade. If I'm indicated on my left hand side, I'm going to grade this chapter, or this assignment will be graded out of 100. I would indicate yes, it would be out of points and out of 100 marks or 50 marks or whatever. The category you just leave as is, uncategorized. And if there's a grade to pass, you will insert 50% or 60% for that matter. All right, that's for grading. I'm going to close grading and I'm going to the assignment part. If it's only assignment 1 or part 1 or chapter 1, like indicated here, I'm just going to leave as is. All right, now I'm starting today with my assignment, and this is a time I've inserted. I'm happy with this. If I need to set my due date, I'm just going to give me 5 or 7 days to complete this. For submission time, I'm going to leave it as is. My post date, this means that I cannot, after the 7th, submit anything after this. So I'm just going to leave this as is at the moment. All right, there's my maximum marks. I'm happy with this setting here. You can always come back and revisit this and change it as is. Or as you want to, or based on your preference. Similarity reports. Now you want to click on similarity reports, and if it says allow submissions after due date, remember you've set the 7th of August. If you say no, you leave it as is, or you can change this to say yes if you are a generous person or you are not very, very strict if you have other students that you are supervising. So I'm just going to say, let's be generous and say yes. Okay. Generate generation speed. You click on this and it's a generate reports immediately. They generate reports immediately. Students can resubmit until due date and so on and so on. So basically, we just click on the third one. And if you're not too sure about this, you can either just visit this question mark and so on. So what this middle one means is that the student can submit, the system will generate a similarity report. You can interrogate the report, rectify all the errors or the mistakes or the similarities that the report has indicated, and you can then resubmit. The second and third resubmission will take a little bit of time. The system needs to work through the second and third submission, but you can still submit until the due date has passed. That's what the middle one means, or generate reports immediately. The students can resubmit until due date and so on. The other two is like your final one. If you submit, you won't be able to resubmit. You won't be able to resubmit. So I'm just going to leave this as is, right? Store student papers in no repository or standard repository. You can just choose which of the two. I'm just going to click on no repository whilst I'm still submitting and submitting. I'm working on my paper. For instance, if my similarity is 40%, and I can resubmit up until, say, acceptable similarity percentage of 10 or 5%, then it makes sense to just keep no repository. So if you want a final submission, you will just click here and go to standard repository. This is when you submit a final document after you have worked through your document. You have amended all the errors or the similarities. You have brought in some references, and you have beefed up your chapter 1 or your chapter 5 or the thesis. You have rectified everything. Then you come to standard repository. But for the purpose of this exercise, I'm just going to leave it as no repository because I can resubmit up until the due date. Then I'm going to check against papers that have been stored. I'm going to leave this yes. Internet, yes. Journals and periodicals, yes. Exclude bibliography, yes. You only want to do that once you are your final run, and then you say no. Exclude quoted material, yes. I'm not going to fiddle on standard matches or the amount of words. Some of the lecturers prefer this. I'm not a proponent of this one. I'm just going to leave it as is. I'm going to click on, I'm happy with the settings, similarity report. I'm going to close them. Grade option marks. Let me just go back. Yeah, graded marks here. If you are going to attach the rubric, you have to indicate that I'm going to attach a rubric, and the rubric can be standard or turn it in rubric, which is embedded in the content area. Or you can create your own rubric if you are saying you are going to utilize a Turnitin rubric. But for the moment, I'm not going to use a rubric. I'm going to close there. That's common module settings, restrict access. I'm not going to touch on this. I'm just going to leave it as is. I'm happy with what I've set here. That's my assignment. I've just indicated that this will be my chapter 1. The settings are 100%. I'm comfortable with everything. I'm going to save and I'm going to display it so that you can see how it would look as assignment that I've just created and so on. Okay, there it is. All right. The assignment, the why nations fail, that's my assignment. My start date is on the 31st. My due date is there. My post date is there. Okay. All right. There's my students in my class. Right. Now, colleagues, you as a person who have a sandbox, who have a module, if you want to submit a document to see whether you can extract a Turnitin similarity report, you won't be able to do it when you see this screen. You have to go to this wheel here on your right hand side. You will click on this wheel and you would go to course administration and go to change roles, right? You would click on switch role to student so that this you become a student. And this is then, you'll see then the system change here, submit paper. I hope that is clear. So once you click on submit paper, you would then be able to submit a paper. Okay, so the submission title would be chapter 1. You can also include the title Why Nations Fail. And what you can do now is to click on the submit file, see add file, or you can drag and drop your file and just place the file here. So I'm just going to go this route, click on it. I'm going to choose a file. My assignment would be on my desktop. There's my assignment, Why Nations Fail. I click on it. There's my assignment and I upload this assignment and there's my assignment. All right. Or my chapter 1 or my thesis or my journal or document or article, and I add submission. All right. The system will upload the submission and the system will generate an electronic receipt that looks something like this that the system will generate. Just let the system run. Right, there is your digital receipt. Your submission has successfully uploaded in Turnitin. That's your ID, your Turnitin ID, and the submission extract Why Nations Fail. You're comfortable with what you have submitted, your chapter 1 or whatever document. You close then your submission and so on. There is your submission, and immediately you see that the system has generated a similarity, a report. All right, you can either go there, or that's your digital receipt. You click on similarity to view the report if you so wish to do so. And then the system will highlight the areas of concern. All right, can you see immediately all the red? So you just have to go here, click what is this 8% all about, and you see all the internet sources, the student papers, internet sources, and then you can start rectifying, or you can download it and start working on these areas of concern. So this is your similarity match overview. So 8%, if you're comfortable with 8% and your supervisor or your lecturer is whoever works with you are comfortable with 8%, then you go on and you work on your next paper or your next chapter and so on. If you're not comfortable with 8%, you want it lower, like 2% or 0%, then obviously you have to go and download this and start working on all the areas that the system has highlighted for you and so on. And then you can just look at all the areas that the system have highlighted and so on. Right, I'm going to go back. Like I said, this is the download area, the download icon. I'm just going to go back. So this is the assignment submission, colleagues. Remember, I'm still in student view. I'm a student. That's why I could see my similarity report and I could submit and resubmit. Obviously, if I've seen this and I work through it, I can resubmit again. Right. So as a supervisor or a lecturer, you have to go back to your normal role. You click on that normal role based on this, and this is what you see, the assignment that you have set up here. So I'm going to go back to, this is my breadcrumbs. In other words, I'm going to go back to this RCD, and this is what you're going to see. There's my Turnitin assignment and so on. If I need to make any adjustments again, I can come here, the drop-down arrow. I click on the drop-down arrow and I click on Edit Settings. And this is where I'm going to do my settings again. If it's a final document or final thesis, then I do my settings based on the similarity report. Then I need to change some of the settings here if it's a final document. Other than that, you will just leave it as is until you have worked through the similarity report. You have rectified all those colorful annotations and internet sources and so on and so on. And you can come back and you can rectify it, and that's the Turnitin assignment and so on. If you have to create another Turnitin link, just going back to this space here, all that you have to do is you click on create a learning activity, you click on all, you go to Turnitin, which is at the bottom, and you can create assignment number 2 or paper 2 or your full dissertation or whatever the case might be. So this is how you go about, colleagues. I'm just going back to my sandbox, and I'm just going to pause for a while to ask if there's any other questions that you want to add, or comments that you want to pass or make. Collins?
Good morning, Doc. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Apologies, I joined a bit late, 37 minutes late. I just wanted to find out if there's any way we're going to get the recording for the session.
Yeah, I think you can answer that
Yes,
question, right?
yes, Collins. We normally post our recordings on Moodle. Do you know how to access the recordings?
To be honest with you, I don't, and I don't. I just because I did write an email to RCD. I don't know where if it's Dr. Chandray that handles it, but she said she had added. I got an SMS or an email stating that I was added to
The
the
community.
to the community, but I
Yes.
haven't done anything. So I wanted to attend this session because now I don't have the Turnitin icon so where I can use to access Turnitin. So I feel that has already been covered already. That's why I did the video, because all the videos I haven't received anyone. But if you do say it's on Noodle, I will definitely find my way around. And if I can't, I'll just come to the postgraduate center and get access to it.
Okay, no problem. But you can also just drop your email in the chat box, and I will send you a step-by-step guide for our Moodle communities. Maybe
Okay.
that will help.
I've been
Okay.
trying to type. Okay, my email. I'm sending my email now.
All right, no problem. Perfect.
All right. Any other questions? Right. So colleagues, basically that is just to go back to the question that was asked. You would click on create a learning activity. If you want to interrogate that, turn it in icons. Just click on all, right? And this is where you are going to interrogate all the icons that's at your disposal. So if you want a icon to be a start icon so that you don't have to go to all, again, basically what you do is just to click on the star button, and it immediately sort of put a preference to it, and it puts it under all stars. You can see if I go to all, this is my activities, all would be start would be all my activities that I highlighted, or my preferential activities and so on. So if I go to resources and I know I'm going to utilize text and media area or page, I click on text and media and page, and it obviously will go to my start ones. So these are the icons that I often utilize. So it will be stationed under the stars, and I don't have to go to all our activities and so on. So this is your assignment, and this is a Turnitin assignment that you would be frequently used to assess or your developing your development in terms of your writing and how you reduce your Turnitin similarity percentages in all your submissions and so on. So I'm just going to stall there for a moment and just ask again if there's any uncertainty regarding create a learning activity and the icons that's at your disposal that you want to utilize. Any other icon that you want me to interrogate, please do indicate in the chat, or do indicate by virtue of just unmuting yourself and so on. Anybody? Right. So I'm just going to assume everybody's comfortable and happy with it and so on. So that's the create a learning activity. So just to recap, if you are creating content and you want your content to be aligned like this, uh, week 1 or theme 1 or unit 1 or whatever you name uh, your convention, you can put it in there, and then you build your content. If you want to expand your content, you would go to create learning activity or create a section, and then you build by virtue of text and media area and page and so on and so on and so on. This is how you embed your code. If you want to have a quiz or assignment, again, I say you would go to create a learning activity. I'm just going to see you have created an assignment there. You want a quiz. I don't know if you are going to use a quiz. You click on create a learning activity, and quiz is not in here. You can click on search and you just type in quiz, and there is your quiz. I'm start quiz and I'm clicking on a quiz, and then you can create your quiz 1, and you can have description, and then you also do your settings. Your settings are extremely important in terms of your timing, the grade, the layout, and the question behavior, and also review options. When do you want the content to be revealed? And after the students have answered the question, when you want the content of the course to be made available to the students and so on. Right. So that's just a course. I'm just going to save and return to course. And I'm again pausing there to ask a question in terms of everybody's comfortable with the course settings. And if you scroll down to the bottom, you can see I have now assignment and I have a course. If I want to preview my course or do my settings or add other questions, I always come back to this arrow here, click on it, and I edit my settings to go back to the course. And this is how you'll see. Right. If I'm going to type a message to my students, I save and display. And this is how I'm starting to add my questions now. When I add questions, this information section will open, right? If you have previously Blackboard module and there was questions in, we have migrated the questions, and you could locate the questions by coming to add and going to your question bank. And in your question bank, you would click on the categories and you'll see that these are all the questions, the courses that we have migrated from Blackboard to Moodle. So you can select which of these question banks or question sets you are going to utilize or want to utilize, or some of the questions that you want to utilize to ask your students and so on. I'm just going to do this 15 questions, and these are the questions, right? My 15 questions. I'm clicking on all these questions. I've highlighted this and I add the questions, and you can see what's going to happen now. The system will then generate a set of questions to me. So I have 15 questions. I'm just going to make this maximum 15 because I've selected 15 questions. I'm saving these questions. But before I save the questions, I can also interrogate the questions by going here and preview the questions. I can delete the questions, or I can work on the question by resetting the question and so on. All right. I'm comfortable with the question sets. I'm saving the questions, and this is what you are going to see in front of you. Just save the questions. All right. My course is almost ready. I go back to my quiz. I preview my quiz, and there's my questions there at the bottom. You can see all my questions have been added and so on. And I'm comfortable. You see all my 15 questions. And you can still rectify your questions if you are going here by clicking on edit questions. Or you can click here and you go to settings, or you can go to course administration and you go to settings. You can import or you can export some of the questions that you want to bring in and so on. And there's my questions again. I'm just going back to my course, and I've included now, colleagues, content, a video. I have a layout, my Turnitin assignment with my similarity report has been generated. I have a quiz, and I can always view my dashboard, and on my dashboard it will be indicating here I have assignments and so on. But for the moment, I have nothing there that's been submitted by the student. I want to send a note to my 20 participants or my students in my group. I click on participants. There's a list of participants that will appear here, right? Say, for instance, I want to send a message or a note to all of my participants indicating that today's assignment or meeting has been postponed up until tomorrow afternoon. I click on this button here. It highlights everybody in my class. With selected users, I choose here. I say I want to send a note to everybody. I click on send a message, and I can just draft my message here. Meeting postponed. Sorry. And you post it. Obviously, you need to rectify some of the errors. If you're comfortable with the message, you can send it to those 20 students in your class. Or if you want to cancel it, you can cancel it. If you only want to send a message to one of the students, you can click on that student and you do the same. So you're going to click on that student and you send it only to one person in the group. This is also a message or a manner in which you can communicate to one of your students in your class, your team leader, your mentor or your tutor in your class, and that's how you will receive a note and so on. The other person on the other side will see there's a bubble popping out, or there's a notification to say that your supervisor or lecturer has sent you a note. Please click on the notification and that message will pop out here, or there will be a message in the bubble to say that there has been communication via your lecturer, and you can see there's communication. You can then liaise with the student and so on. Just going back to my course, and this is my sandbox as indicated, and this is where I am and so on. I'm just going to pause here again to ask if there's any questions in terms of communication, dashboard, participant, and then you can liaise with the students and so on. If you have generated groups and you want to communicate with specific groups, you would go to this space again, or this area. You would click on select groups if you have created groups. And if you want to only communicate with group B, you would click on type or select group B, and then you would filter it. And then only here you would then be able to communicate with group B. So I only want to I only want to have conversation with one of the students in group B, the very same like I've previously indicated. You click on that and you choose send a message, and you see that I'm only communicating to the leader of group B and not to all the participants in the group. I hope that is clear. If you want to communicate with all students in the group, you would highlight everybody and you will send a note to everybody, add a new note and so on. You can do that, or you can send a spreadsheet and so on to that group and so on. All right, colleagues, this is now utilization of participants in a group. If you want to cancel it, you will get everybody again in your class coming back to this 20 users and so on. I'm going back to my sandbox, and this is where I'm going to stall and ask for any questions or any uncertainties and so on. All right, Refilwe, if there's no questions, I'm just going to stop there. If there's anything that colleagues wants me to explain again, like I indicated, please do let me know so that we don't repeat some of the content that I've already explained. Over to you, Refilwe.
Thank you, Mr. Damons. Do we have any questions before we can conclude our session? You can just raise your hand. All right, if we do not have any other questions, please allow me to wrap up the session. On behalf of the RCD unit, I would like to thank everyone for joining us today, more especially our facilitator, Mr. Damons, for taking his time out of his busy schedule to facilitate this session. We are truly honored. Please note that the recording will be posted on Moodle from today. Should you need any help with that, accessing the recording, please just drop an email to rcdinquiries@uj.ac.za. Okay, we have someone typing. All right, there. Thank you for such an informative session. Thank you so much, Mr. Damons. I think that is it from my side as well.
Thank you very much, colleagues, and have a good day.
Yes, please enjoy the rest of your day going forward.
Thank you very
Goodbye.
much. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.